I really hate doing these kind of episodes. Welcome, survivors, to episode 16 of Ark News. In today's episode, I discuss the third news of the delay and go through more reveals from Genesis Part 2. But before I get into all of that, we have a very special change to the norm. We are going to hear the released main theme from Genesis Part 2 instead of the usual intro. Enjoy.
Your survival ends here!
So I love that piece of music, and Wildcard also released the epic screen image, and I also love the cameo from David Tennant at the end there. Really looking forward to hearing more from him in the game and in the new series. So on to the news. You probably want me to talk about that rather than listen to me drone on and talk about how this theme is different to all the others. So as we all know, Genesis Part 2 has been delayed to June 2nd in 3 days' time. Now, while this is disappointing, I want to talk about some positives regarding this. Usually when there is a delay of 1 week, PC or Steam would get the content released on the date intended. This has not happened. Something that Wildcard has tried to do since the release of Extinction is release the same content on all platforms at the same time. It's plausible to assume that this might be the case here. If this happens, this is a big stepping stone towards the path on Ark 2. On the other side of this coin, however, I want to read the official statement from Wildcard regarding the delay. This final chapter of Ark's Survival Evolved story is far by the most intricate and ambitious expansion we've yet created. We're so excited to share it with you and proud of the team's immense efforts, creativity and passion. We truly believe Genesis 2 will be something special and a fitting story conclusion to the journey you've taken with us in Ark over the past 6 years, and hope our players will feel likewise. As many of you are aware, we transitioned to a fully remote working environment at the beginning of last year. Shifting from a collaborative in-office workflow to remote comes with unique challenges. The massive scope of Genesis Part 2 and our personally set challenge of ending Arc 1 with a bang was compounded by the team having to work from home all the way through the forthcoming release. We have made the decision to delay the launch by 1 week until June the 2nd, just in time for the 6th anniversary of Arc. This was a difficult decision for us since we're eager to get Genesis 2 into your hands as we are to play it, but ultimately we feel it's the right decision to get the content into our players in the best way on launch day, simultaneously across Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox and PlayStation. We sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that we can get to play Genesis Part 2 and take the first steps to the end, or a new beginning, that you will agree will be worth waiting for. As HLNA would say, hang in there, survivors. We're almost home. The Studio Wildcard team. Now, to be 100% clear, I fully understand that Wildcard is not a big company like EA, Microsoft Game Studios, Activision or Infinity Ward. They are independent, and I realise that all game companies have struggled to work remotely during this pandemic. But there is a part of me thinking it has been over a year now. Can you solely blame this pandemic? But again, considering we do not know the extent of the issues they've been having with working remotely, so I think this is up for debate, but I'm wanting to continue to spread as much positivity as possible. So in Community Crunch 269, they revealed another creature. We have another image of one of the new creatures being added. First up, we have the Summoner, and like all of the others, we got some sentences for it. You'll have to summon some real courage if you're seen by this watchful guard. Perhaps it's better just to run. This new creature looks cool. I can see a mass horde of these coming to attack during the boss fight, maybe. So yeah, this looks pretty cool. The next one is a creature that I'm really looking forward to. The Astrodelphus, or aka the Space Whale, so even Wildcard have now coined its nickname. I love it. We get a short little paragraph for this one. It is as follows. Curious and inquisitive, the swift Astrodelphus may look like the citizens that once swam in Earth's oceans, but this variation had loftier dreams and made an interstellar home amongst the stars. Evolving unique traits, equip a star wing saddle and you have a sentient spacecraft capable of blasting targets into oblivion. I cannot wait for this creature, and I cannot wait to use the new star wing saddle. I didn't realise that you can see this in the back of that shot there. It looks awesome, and I cannot wait to use one of these in game. We also had a stream with Jesse, one of the executive producers in Wildcard, and Cedric, with the community manager, with Part 2. I managed to write down some quick fire notes. Genesis Part 2 is the largest map ever in the game. It's bigger than Ragnarok. No wonder why they've had to delay it and have had troubles. If it's the largest map we've ever had, I'm not surprised. That's incredible, and I'm looking forward to that. They've listened to the community and took the feedback on board to make Genesis 2. Yes, that's something we knew, and that's the feedback from Genesis Part 1. Obviously, not exactly the best of maps. They wanted to add quality of life changes to the game to ensure the game is in a good place until the sequel. So again, that's part of the egg incubator, the ammunition box, things like that. These are all quality of life things to ensure the game's longevity. Fixed missions so that they no longer take place in the play area, interfering with build areas, another big thing from Genesis Part 1. The Exomech is a weapon and a tool, and gives an RTS view of the game. Now, I believe this is real-time strategy view, which I had no idea what it was until I googled it, and apparently it is a bird's eye view style of arc, which is done via this new mech. That is pretty cool. I have no idea why we would need that, so that would be interesting to see that in action. They said there's nothing new in the building mechanics, but apparently the building mechanics will be changed for Arc 2 to ease building for the big time builders. So that is interesting. Genesis 2 is the storyline bridge to Arc 2. So there's going to be a tie-in for those two there. For the 6th anniversary, there will be a big bundle released together, including the full soundtrack, known as the Ultimate Survivors Edition. More on that later on. Gameplay trailer releases before June 2nd or on June 2nd. And they also mentioned working with Vin Diesel. That is great working with him, and he's a long-time ARC player and fan. Again, something we knew on this channel. They also did some reveals, 2 new weapons, a closer look at some of the creatures coming to the game in Genesis Part 2, which is now shaping up to be an enormous content drop. It's shaping up to be something special for us. So we had a great shot of some of the dinos from across different DLCs. These are the biome variants. Some old friends will be making a reappearance in Genesis Part 2. Here is an early look at our Gen R variants, which will include many new versions of previous expansions creatures. So that was a little write-up, and I have to admit, I am looking forward to this. I love the fact that this map will be the second map to have the Velonosaur, personal favourite of mine from Extinction. Next up, we have the net projectile. As you can see, it's a new type of ammo for the harpoon. The few sentences for this one are: when a normal bowler isn't doing the job, in comes the net projectile. Using the net projectile with a harpoon, you'll be able to net larger creatures. So this is to aid into stopping the creature from running while you're trying to tame it, because not every creature can be stuck with a bowler. This solves that problem. To be fair, I use the tranquilizer spear belt, so for me they don't run for very long, but this might be helpful in those hard to reach areas, or if you want to stop them from running entirely. I can see that being quite useful. Again, we had another reveal, and this one I'm looking forward to seeing in action. The Tech Surveillance Console. The paragraph for this one is as follows: secure your base in Genesis Part 2 with the remote camera security system. Issue commands, view and communicate all from a remote location. You can use them to spy on and communicate with your enemies. I think this is going to be something more geared to the PvP players. Unless you have a massive base, then I cannot see PvE players needing this. But I do like the idea of having a security system, so I might use this for casual building. But it's not intended for that purpose. So next up, we have a creature that I'm personally looking forward to, and so many others could be dreading: the Voidworm. The silhouette might read as a wyvern, but these mechanical sentries are nothing of the sort. Be careful when you're out exploring. Voidworm does not take well to interlopers. So that was the little bio. I stand by what I said when this creature was revealed. This is going to be the creature that everyone hates, because as soon as someone on the official servers gets one of these, they've won. I'm thinking more for PvP here, but I can see this creature being one of those ones to have on official for that reason. Personally, I can't wait to grab one and add it to the ever-growing collection of tech creatures that I have. Another new weapon, the Jar of Pitch. The sentences on this one are: if you're going on a siege, you'll definitely want something that can leave an impact. The Jar of Pitch allows you to do just that by leaving an impact area covered in flames. This is definitely being geared towards the PvP community. I can see this doing some damage. Finally, we have an image of the Tech Exo Armor. There was no bio for this one because this is the new tech suit for Genesis Part 2, and I'm already looking forward to using this in the game, and I cannot wait to play Genesis Part 2, although the reveals did not stop there. As mentioned previously, the ARC Ultimate Survival Edition was announced in celebration of the 6th anniversary of Ark. Well, it is now available on all platforms. It includes the first Season Pass, Scorched Earth, Aberration and Extinction, the Genesis Season Pass with Genesis Parts 1 and 2, all the skins they have released, and the soundtrack with live orchestra by Gareth Cooker for Genesis. The artwork looks fantastic. If anyone doesn't have Ark or is thinking about it, please get this version. Trust me, you will not regret it. So, while everything is still positive on here, sadly the news of the delay really brought out the worst in our community yet again. I mean, it's just 1 week. But then the aforementioned stream, some community members were posting negative comments on the chat of the stream. I have to admit, we don't really portray well, do we? The flurry of negative comments were quite shocking, and frankly I'm surprised that anyone in Wildcard managed to stay positive. I wouldn't. So this is a message from a humble Ark fan who plays Ark Survival Evolved on a regular basis and who covers the latest news and headlines regarding said game. To all developers and those who work at Studio Wildcard, these people do not represent the opinion of us all. They represent the small number. If you watch this looking to write a hateful, mean or horrible comment about Wildcard, remember who is on the receiving end. You may have anonymity, but you are not free from guilt. Imagine if that was you, receiving abuse day in, day out. Please remember to be considerate to those who have worked hard and do not deserve this level of response we give them. They deserve our respect, our positivity, and our kindness. I'm sorry to get preachy, but it had to be said sooner rather than later. I feel like I had something else. What was it? Oh yes. So we had some big news from Cedric, our community manager, on what is coming next for Ark after the release of Genesis Part 2. And it might be easier to show you. Here is the tweet. What I did want to mention is Genesis 2 isn't the end for Ark 1. The team plans on supporting it with additional updates, content, brackets, did I hear a new map, brackets, and bug fixes throughout 2022, leading up to Ark 2. It isn't the end, it's just the beginning. We're committed. So guys, it is happening. We are getting another free map before Ark 2. Obviously we knew that we were going to continue to get updates, but this is amazing news. I mean, what's left? Will there be a new dino? Will introduce a new biome? Will it be the Underwater map that we were promised? As per usual, I will keep you guys posted. But I'm excited. Ark Survival Evolved is alive. So that's all for this week's episode of Ark News. Don't forget episode 2, running and owning a server of Ark Highlights, is coming in June, and also I'll be live streaming on the day of release of Genesis Part 2. Also, please comment if you have any questions about anything in today's episode or anything in any other episodes, or anything about Ark in general. Subscribe for more Ark news, and make sure to hit the notification bell, ding, so you never miss an episode. See you next time, survivors.